Hi there, welcome to Victim to Victor, the podcast dedicated to empowering abuse survivors and inspiring healing, hope, and positive change. I'm Anu Verma, a published author, and in every episode, I'll sit down with a guest and embark on an insightful conversation about trauma, as well as practical strategies to start the healing process. So let's get started. I hope you enjoy the show. With me today, I have master's level licensed psychologist Tom Glaser, who's based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. For over 30 years, Tom has helped people shed their fears, set free of what haunts them so that they come more into their true, beautiful selves. He offers collaborative therapy, healing the mind, heart, and body through awareness and experience. Tom believes that it's in the context of relationship that we make the deepest change. He also believes that we grow and excel in an environment with just the right amount of support and challenge. We must feel understood by ourselves and often by another before we can make change. And engaging in our passions makes us come alive. These core beliefs guide his work as a psychologist, a life coach, author, radio host, and performer. And here is lovely Tom, all the way from Minnesota, Minneapolis. Hey!
Yes, yeah, across the big lake.
Well, lovely. Yeah, no, it's great to connect. I'm really excited to find out more about you and to find out about your journey from victim to victorhood and also, what you're doing today. So please do fire away.
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, it's such a pleasure to be in your presence. I just feel really honored. Where to start? What can I say? I guess I'll say, first of all, I'm a survivor, right? Yeah. I think that it's really important to start with the positive and really look at the resilience first.
Okay.
And that's a huge part of my spirit is being a resilient survivor. And so what do I mean by that? I feel like a strong human being who has found purpose, in part through my own hardships that I have experienced. And my hardships really inform how I help other people and how I show up with suffering other souls. So we can go into that more, but later. But so why don't I go ahead and say, I grew up in so many ways with a really lovely family, stable. My parents were married. We were in the same house most of my growing up. We were provided decently for. And there was way too much alcohol use in my family and way too much anger. And there were 4 kids. I'm the third of 4. We were blamed for all kinds of things that we had absolutely no control over and yelled at and called names. And my parents are were really wonderful, good people. And they just weren't totally able to parent, a highly sensitive soul such as myself. Okay. And then starting in junior high and throughout much of high school, I was horribly tormented by peers for being different, so-called fag, and even told the sexual acts that I should be performing and in public. So I was just humiliated regularly, and I never knew when it would happen. So I didn't really feel safe 100% in either place. Both places were mixed because school also came fairly easily to me, and I connected well with teachers, and I did have some friends, and thank God I found theater. So I had a place where I was accepted and excelled. But then there was also this horrible stuff going on. And same thing at home, like as I was explaining, like in many ways from the outside, it looked like a really great growing up. But then there was this stuff behind, like no one would know that there was any problems with our family, right? We presented this face, like so many families do. Yes, to the world, that made it look like things were just fine. So both these places were really mixed. And so why don't I just stop there? But go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, which state were you in? Is it where you are now?
Grew up in Michigan, outside of Detroit.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say again, I don't know which kind of era we're looking at here. Are we looking at the 80s or 90s?
Yes, I graduated from high school in 1980. So actually the 60s and 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the era, it was totally different. I mean, there was different. The LGBT community, it just did, it didn't exist. In fact, there was so much hate.
Correct.
Yeah, so correct. Absolutely.
Ellen wasn't on TV every day.
No,
for instance,
exactly. Right? Yeah. Did you know that you were gay from like a young age, or
I knew I was different. It evolved over time. Yeah. And so I didn't really fully come out until my mid-20s.
Okay. Right. Okay. So a bit later.
Yeah, I dated a woman really seriously in college and even in grad school. But mid-20s, I was like, no, I need to pursue this other thing. And by then, there was more of a support, community out there. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I know. Thank goodness.
I know. Yeah. Because I know that, something that you believe in is about support and community, just the importance of it. So it must have been really tough. I mean, do you feel like you were living in denial up until then?
Sure. Yeah, of course. The culture, when you get bombarded by messages that you are not okay, it's a pretty good defense to have some denial, right?
Yeah.
And again, this mixed bag, like on the one hand, I knew I had these thoughts and feelings and attractions, but I also got these messages that it so wasn't okay, right? So, so to some degree, suppressing. Yeah.
Oh, boy,
until I felt that there was some safety. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, brilliant. And so by your mid-20s, you felt safe?
Yes. Safer.
Excellent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Safer. Brilliant. And then were you still in Michigan by that time?
No, by then I was out of grad school. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. So what happened then? Continue. Yeah.
So, I would say, it starts there. It starts with finding community. So first of all, being exposed to the gay community, and like right away, Anu, what I noticed is the humor in the gay community. So minorities, to cope, right? You have to laugh at absurd things.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that really drew me to some of the people in the gay community was this incredible humor of, look at what all we've been through, and we can laugh and be together and connect through laughing at all the absurdities. It's phenomenal.
That's lovely, though. The joy of laughter.
Yes, totally. And so it's the connection both through laughter and sharing the pain, right? So those are two, I always think of the symbols for like theater. It's the mask with the smile and the mask with the frown. Like those are the way, it's not just the performing arts that is the reason we have those symbols. That's human nature. We connect most deeply when we share laughter and when we share pain. So I experienced that in the gay community. And from there, as I continued to do professional training, I landed in a Gestalt therapy training program, a 2-year advanced, postgraduate training program. And to learn to be group therapists, we did these training groups where it's essentially like a therapy group. I mean, the point is to learn therapy skills as a therapist, but we were all clients. as we moved through these 2 years together. And that's when I really started to share my story of the things that happened to me in junior high and high school, and have people who I trusted and who I knew loved me respond and say things, Anu, like, you didn't deserve that. That sounds horrible. I'm so sorry that happened to you. We love you just as you are. Like, all those kinds of messages, so healing.
Yeah.
So healing for me individually. Yeah. So two kinds of community there, right? Finding like-minded people, finding my tribe. And then in these training groups, finding people of all stripes who had incredible empathy for me. Yeah. Those are some of the most healing, experiences I can think of.
Absolutely, it is, yeah, and it's just, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said about safety, because I know that in trauma therapy, that's one of the first things that we aim to achieve with our clients is safety and stabilization, because you just don't feel safe, like you can't trust anybody. So just to have people to trust, and just having just one person who actually believes in you. Wow. It
makes a world of difference.
It does.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So what happened then? So your Gestalt therapy. Oh, I love that. What did you learn in there?
Oh my gosh. So many things. And to some degree, I can't speak to Gestalt itself at this stage, because now this is decades ago. And I've studied so many things since then. But those experiences were so profound. And I would say what I did take from that training in part is the really being in the moment with clients. Okay. So, and I think that's kind of the spark of where I began to become more of an intuitive therapist. Okay. So trusting my own inner knowing. So first of all, what I like to say first is the importance of self-care. So for me to be a good therapist, I really have to attend to myself, right? Yeah. I look at my own, how I eat, how I move my body, my rest, my sleep, my downtime, so that I can show up in a way that's less distracted, more in the present moment. And when I'm with clients, I'm really listening very, very deeply and tracking. It sounds a little, I almost hesitate to say it because I don't want people to think that it's in a weird, analytical, kind of scary way. No, it's an openness, but I'm following like micro facial expressions. I'm really listening for inflections, how you say something in addition to what you say. Simultaneously attending to myself and noticing what goes on in my body as I'm with the client, because there's tons of cues and clues in both that helps lead us where we might need or want to go.
Wow. So it sounds like you're really good at picking up energy.
Yes.
And I mean, and again, that's a gift of its own. And I know that, you have to be really spiritually attuned with yourself in order to do that. So
exactly.
So you must have done some actual spiritual training as well.
Absolutely. As well as my own psychotherapy as a client. Then I got involved in individual psychotherapy. Yeah. Okay. Which I continue to this day.
Brilliant. God,
yes.
It's important, right? Absolutely. And wow, so I love that. I mean, NLP as well, I guess that's pretty similar, where you're picking up, the movements of a client and their cues and, which way they're looking. And there's
I believe
so much
it is very similar to NLP. I haven't really studied it formally, so I wouldn't want to say for sure, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sounds it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So tell us more about your trainings.
Oh my gosh. I would say probably the training that had the most impact on me in my later years is AEDP, accelerated experiential dynamic psychotherapy. This is led by Diana Fosha, a PhD level psychologist. And it's attachment based, and there was several years where I videotaped a ton of sessions with clients. So there would be a camera on the client and a camera on me, and I would review videotapes of actual client sessions with a supervisor who helped me develop this ability to be in the present moment and track and respond to what's going on in the moment, and to talk about what it's like to be together with the client. What was it like to have that experience with me? So a client might have an epiphany or really have an emotional breakdown and really get in touch, maybe for the first time, with deeper emotions, and to really go through that with them and then begin to process that. So what was it like to share that with me here today? And so bringing in our relationship is another really healing experience where the client can say, "Oh yeah, that you were here." So it's not just that it happens that they had a witness and a support person, but they notice, "Oh yeah, your presence made it go deeper. I didn't think I could ever open up like that with another person kind of in the room with me, but I could. I did. Oh, how did you find the courage to do that?" And to have them go deeper so that then they can translate these skills to relationships outside.
Wow. You find that tends to be a major issue with people, is the fact that they can't go deep.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a defense mechanism. That's, it's not bad. Here's the thing. People often have so much shame when they realize they have a pattern like that. And I always say, no. Thank that side of you that developed that capacity to keep yourself safe. That's good. That's good. Thank you. You maybe don't need to use that so often anymore. So let's also develop more tools. Let's give you more skills. So when you want to connect more deeply with somebody else, you have that capacity as well. But there was a time you needed that ability to not feel so deeply and to kind of check out in your relationships. That was really functional to get you to survive.
True. Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that. I love that a lot. Because that's something, one of your beliefs is about, whether relating to ourselves or relating to others, it's in the context of relationship that we reach our highest potential.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We must be supported. And how do we get to know ourselves? It's by being mirrored. It's by having people reflect. It's in relationship. And that's where we discover our gifts.
Ourselves. It's like in my case, and I know, I've heard it with many other survivors, is that they only started to really heal when they got married, or when they were with that partner who gave them that safe space and supported them. And I know that, in my case, it ended in a turmoil where, we ended up splitting up because it was just so traumatic, even that whole experience of the trauma coming out. But, we are back together. So, yeah.
Oh, good.
Nice. It all worked out in the end. The universe works wonders.
Wow. Isn't that something? That just gives such hope, right? I love that you're sharing that.
Oh, yeah, because I just feel that sometimes, you need that space. I mean, it's great, like the partner gives you that safety and the grounding to heal, but then sometimes you just need to be on your own as well during that healing.
Absolutely. So, there's a place for each. And again, I've heard people express shame when they say, I couldn't, find my self-esteem until I was in a relationship. And again, I say, no, that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's how we do it. No, it's okay. That's how we learn that we're really lovable, is by having someone love us. So particularly for people whose early childhood dependency and relationship needs were not met well enough by a primary caregiver, Of course. And I just say, that's okay. It's okay. Just be kind to yourself.
Oh, I love that. You're such an empath.
Thank you. It takes one to know one, Anu.
I can imagine you in a session and like, I really would. I'd just open up and pour my heart out to you because you're just that trusting, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
it's
you.
like you were born to be this therapist, you know, this guiding angel for people.
Wow. I gotta say, to some degree, I believe that, and that's in all due humility, right? This is it isn't like when I'm saying all this isn't about, and none of it's about me.
No.
Right?
No.
I'm just showing up in a way that allows all this to happen. So it's not an ego thing, but I do believe what you just said. It's like, this feels like my mission. It feels like I was born to do these things, right? It feels like gifts from beyond. I have professional training, a ton of it, and academic training, of course. But also I feel like just a healer, that's just me. It's just who I came into the world as. And I happen to have all these privileges to be able to express it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You are. You're the medium, aren't you? You're the channel for, I don't know if you believe in your guides or, you know.
I do. And it feels more like channeling. That, to be totally honest. And some people get freaked out when we use these words.
Yeah, they do.
But whatever. It's like, but it's true because I'm in the moment. I'm really grounded when I'm with a client. But like I said, I've done all this self-care and I didn't even begin to, say all the self-care stuff that I do, but it's so that I can show up and be in the moment. And then, like guides from beyond, I feel like are invited in. And when I'm with the right client and they show up with the right spirit and their heart is open and they want to change, they want to move, magic happens. There's like this alchemy that just shows up.
Wow.
And again, it isn't me. It's just the client says something and I get this idea somewhere and it shows up in my body somewhere. And I've learned mostly, not always, but usually I honor it, particularly if it keeps coming. And I might even interrupt a client and say, do you mind if I stop you? Something's coming to me really. I want to hear what you have to say and we'll get back to that. But this thing just came to me. And if it's relevant, can I share it with you? And if they say no, I say, cool, I'll remember it. And if it's relevant, I'll bring it up again. But almost always they say yes. And I'm like, okay, here's what's coming to me. Does this mean anything? Might this be relevant to what you're saying? And like 90+% of the time, they're like, oh my God, how could you know that? Like it shifts, right? We go to then a deeper place. It's so cool.
It's amazing, yeah.
That is more like channeling.
That is, yeah. Do you have like guides that you work with or?
Well, not that I'm like specifically aware of in any kind of concrete way.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm just opening to the universe. It's really broad. It's really broad.
Yeah, that is something. And and I feel that now, with the world waking up, spirituality is just really, it's booming. I feel like people are awakening, and even in business, there's so much talk about, alignment and, spiritual workshops, and, everyone's meditating, and it's just amazing. Like, the world's changing. But then obviously on the flip side, we get threats that Russia's about to attack Britain. So, it's just like, I talk about the yin and the yang, we've got such good happening. And then, it's like, come on.
I'm so happy to be reminded of what you're saying. You're right. The world is waking up. I feel that too. And I almost asked when you just said that a minute ago, I'm like, oh, you see it? You believe it too? Because I do too, most of the time. But like today was kind of a bad day. I've been sort of negative today, not feeling as well. And I'm in this transition. I just got back to Minnesota from my happy place in California. I mean, and there's so much going on in the world. But you're right. And that's the thing to hold on to is how we need some of this, like the chaos does give us the opportunity, right? Yeah. To come into more of this awakening. And today was a day where I was forgetting that. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh. Oh, I love that. Absolutely. Goodness. And it's just fear, we just have so much fear.
Yes.
And I feel like this is why it's so important for us to wake up even more and to, really stick to like the presence and to not let fear take over.
Exactly.
Because it's so easy to, especially when we're feeling vulnerable or, when we're not feeling too like strong, it's so easy to get in that negative state.
Exactly. And that's exactly what was happening to me today. So I'm so happy.
How did you flip it around?
By showing up here today.
Fantastic. There you go.
I was thinking of calling a friend, and I was thinking about contacting one of my healers, my homeopath. But I didn't do that yet today. And here we are. And this
amazing.
Yeah, this really helped.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure. But do you find that as well, because, you are seeing clients and, it's a lot to take on, which is why, it's important for us as therapists to have our own practice of supervision and therapy. But do you find that it can take its toll on you as well?
Of course it does. Of course it does. It's heavy work.
It is.
It's really heavy work. And if you are showing up in a way that's really available, it takes our personal energy. It does take our personal. It's a little bit of my life force.
Yeah.
Every time, and that's the only way I want to show up. I'm not going to show up halfway, or Exactly. So that's why self-care is so important. As a healer, I must be absolutely committed to taking care of myself. Otherwise, I could burn out so easily.
Absolutely. Well, what do you do then to take care of yourself?
Well, some of the things I was already listing, I'll repeat those, attending to my own sleep, my exercise. So I go for a long walk with the dog just about every day, at least an hour outside in nature. Yeah. Yoga. Nice. I do yoga most days. I'm a little out of that practice. I really want to get back into that. Just the travel thing. I drove halfway across the country. That sort of interrupted my yoga routine. I surround myself with people I love. That's huge for my self-care. Hanging out with friends and family that I adore and who adore me back. Writing, attending to my own writing practice.
Because you're writing a book, aren't you?
I am. My second book. Yeah, it's my second book. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so we can talk about your first one.
Sure.
Yeah, later on. But yeah, and obviously, something else that you believe in is about engaging in your passions that make you come alive. So I guess you're practicing exactly what you're preaching out there. So yes.
A few years ago, I got back into my first love, which I mentioned earlier, performing. So that's one example of passions. Being with little ones is a passion of mine. Young ones. I love being around little children and animals. Yeah.
It's because they really help you stay present. I know that my son's taught me so much about presence. It's such a big, I think, it's been such a massive awakening for me, to actually just be there with him and not to be thinking or worrying about anything else.
Don't you love that? Right. They don't know anything else. So they're just right here, right now.
Yeah. It's like,
and it's contagious too, right? Yeah.
Just getting down and playing Lego with him and actually playing Lego and not being on my phone or anything,
Yes, exactly. Oh,
like what? I got a phone in one hand and Lego in the other. I definitely, I'm not doing that because otherwise it'll just teach some bad habits for me.
Exactly.
And they're like the technology crazy kids, aren't they, that are being born in this day and age?
Yes. And you would regret it later. If you're on your phone all the time when your child is there, they're going to grow up, right? And you're going to be like, I missed it.
Where was I?
I was on my fucking phone.
I was like browsing through Facebook, looking at other people's lives. I mean, how boring. Whereas my life's happening right in front of me and I'm missing out.
Exactly. Totally.
Wow. So mums and dads, put your phones down and stay present with your child, your blessed child.
Yes, totally.
So tell us about the 3 T's.
Oh, yeah. So I learned this actually from one of my interviewees for my next book, which is on resilience following trauma.
Oh, nice.
And his model is from trauma to trust to triumph.
Nice. Okay.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, and it highlights what we were talking about earlier, right? To find someone after experiencing trauma that you can trust and sharing your experience with them. Hugely, it's like revolutionary, right? It really shifts. Then the healing can begin, right away. Something shifts in the body, and then we become more open to all the healing that needs to be done from there. And then we can begin to open ourselves to other relationships. And that's really the key, right? It's the key of the human life, and happiness is connection to other people and ourselves.
But then it's also the right relationships as well, because I know as a survivor, it's so easy for us to draw these people who suck away our energy as well. It's like, no more.
Isn't that life, right? Doesn't that happen over and over and over again? This is what I see in my own life and in my clients' lives. We draw people in to help us heal and to teach us lessons. And we seem to repeat until we kind of get a lesson. Yeah. We seem to repeat patterns with people, right? This is what I see over and over and over again. So if we're with a parent, I'll use this example again, because this is part of mine, where who wasn't fully emotionally available to us, we might draw friends or partners who are not as available as we need them to be. Yeah. And then through that, we either stay stuck or we can find our voice and say, hey, something's not working here for me. Yeah. Gosh, I would like something more, something different. Are you willing to try something new with me? And your partner has free agency, right? Your partner can say, I'd love to try that. Or gosh, I'm not sure that's going to work for me. Yeah. I'm making it sound really simple. It is simple, but it's not easy. These are very difficult decisions, and they can be hard conversations to have. Absolutely. But just for shorthand, I mean, essentially that's what it is. We're provided these opportunities. I swear the universe works in mysterious and sometimes really beautiful ways. They give us these opportunities to do what we need to do, to find our voice. Like that's a phrase too. Yeah. That I find a lot. I'm still finding my voice. Literally, like doing podcasts like these are a way of my finding my voice. Yeah. Yeah. Through my own trauma. And that brings us to the third T, triumph, to come to a place where I can own. Here's another really important thing. Own what happened to me. Now, that doesn't mean I blame myself, but I own, oh my gosh, I had these experiences. This is how it affected me, right? It caused me to do these things. Some of them I'm not so proud of. Some of them I'm really proud of, right? So all of us are wounded souls just doing the best we can. I've made some mistakes, in part because of what I experienced, and I try to do better. But the point is that eventually we come to a point where we do make new and better decisions that benefit others and ourselves more. Yeah. And the triumph is doing that. The triumph is finding our passions, because a lot of trauma survivors, because of that level of fear, take fewer risks and don't engage in their passions as much as they could or would benefit them and others. So triumph comes from learning how to take risks. Now, I'm not talking about jumping off
No.
The deep end, when you haven't taken swimming lessons, take swimming lessons first. You take small risks, start out in the shallow and learn how to swim. Then go off the high dive when you're ready into the deep end.
Yeah.
Then you'll find triumph. Triumph. What does that mean metaphorically? Engaging in whatever your passions are. Follow that. Allow yourself to do the things that really bring you alive, because that's going to bring other people alive as well.
Oh, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's so true. And especially if you're around the right people, energy doesn't lie. And, we pick that up off people.
Yes.
And which is what, I mean, do you find that you do well in surrounding yourself with people who lift you up now rather than...
Of course.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that can be quite difficult for a lot of survivors. And, it takes a lot of intuition, and to actually really know yourself, to know that, the people that you surround yourself with are actually serving you and not hindering you.
And trial and error is what I find, right? So often clients identify that they want to increase their support system or be with people who have a more positive influence.
Yeah.
But it can take a while.
Yeah, it can.
So do some experimenting. Yeah. Again, it's like it's like therapy is like the swimming lessons in the shallow end. So how did that go when you tried to reach out to your neighbor who you thought you might want to be friends with? Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, how can we increase the chances that it will work and decrease the chances that it won't work? And over time and together, we'll find something that will work for you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So tell us about your first book then.
Sure. Yeah. So, I don't have a copy right here. Usually I keep one right here so I can show it for those who are, It's called Full Heart Living, Conversations with the Happiest People I Know.
Okay, lovely. Yeah. I can add a link in the description anyway. So
Great. Thanks.
No problem.
And it covers all these things we have been talking about. So connecting with other people, finding your tribe, connecting with yourself, being mindful, being in the present moment, connecting with your passions, acting in the service of others.
Oh,
you do all those things, you're going to be happier.
Yeah. Oh my God, as simple as that.
Yes. I really,
in a nutshell,
I really shortened it down.
Summarize. Yeah. And when do you think your second book will be out?
Oh, it's so hard to predict these things, right? Creative endeavors have a life of their own. This book is still speaking to me. It's already very different than I thought it was going to be. Nice. I thought it was going to be interviews with trauma survivors and how they became resilient. And early readers said they want to hear way more about me and how I work with trauma survivors. So what I'm writing now is more about that process, what I've discovered as a trauma therapist. So it may more be that second, or maybe there's going to be a whole nother thing that's going to come to me. So long answer to a short question. Yeah, boy, if I could get a good, solid first draft written within a few months, that'd be great. And then I'll revise it from there. So hopefully sooner than later.
Well, watch this space, basically.
Exactly.
So where can my listeners find you, to follow you so that they do keep updated as to when this book will be launched?
Fullheartliving.com is my website. I do have a Facebook page also called Full Heart Living. I will admit I'm not super active on social media right now, in part because of the things we were talking about. I find it kind of takes me out of the present moment.
It does.
So I try to just use it very little these days, but I do have a presence there. So my website, fullheartliving.com, or Facebook. I've also got an Instagram page, same thing. I'm not super active right now, but every now and then I post classes I'm teaching. And of course I'll be announcing when I know the book will be coming out on all those places.
Yeah, brilliant. And also what you're doing now. So obviously you're a therapist and you offer services online.
Yes, I do coaching, services remote, and psychotherapy for residents of Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Is that because with psychotherapy, face-to-face is always the most preferred option?
Right now, even with our licensing and our ethical boards, we have to be, it's only by state. It's fascinating. That's just how it is in the states right now. So it's by residents of state. And so I can do remote sessions for psychotherapy for residents of Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, so that's the way the licensing is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. That explains it. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, brilliant. Well, there you go. Yes. But in terms of your coaching, you can offer that internationally. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good. Oh, excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. I must say it's been an absolute honor having you on and learning more about your story. And
thank you.
Wow. I just love, how far you've come and just the way that the universe has guided you along this amazing journey. Yeah. Very blessed.
This has been a great conversation. I really appreciate the opportunity, Anu. Thank you.
It's an absolute honor. Listeners, please do follow Tom. He's an absolute angel, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me. And please do get in touch with Tom or myself if you have any questions about anything that Tom has spoken about or any of his practices that he's currently out there providing for the world. And please do get in touch. Thank you very much for your time today, Tom, and my listeners. And I will be back on the next episode. Until then, stay blessed and stay empowered.